This is something you are very focused on, helping try to fix what people believe is a fixable problem. Let me ask you, let me start off, how did Biggest Loser come about?
Biggest Loser was a fluke. I had a gym, and I worked with physical therapists and chiropractors, and it was my passion, my life. And we had an industry-based clientele. There was a Hollywood agent working out there, and I was beating the crap out of somebody one day, and he had heard about the show and thought, there's this show on NBC, they're looking for a trainer, you'd be great for it. And I hate reality TV, and I hated the name of the show, and I was like, no, I'm not going. And he rode me. Oh, no, I was not interested. I was not going. He just stayed on me for weeks. And I finally went in, and I think my attitude was so bad. When I went on the interview, I was like, that name's really stupid, right? Why are you calling it that? And just it was such a pain in the butt that they were like, she's so difficult here, she's going to make great television.
That is how it works.
The rest is history, and here I am.
Well, you've made a huge impact. As a personal trainer, you have these people who come on the show, and a lot of them are successful.
Yes.
What are their lives like afterward? I mean, that's one of the things that I think people ask about all the time. You may have this weight loss, you may get to this good place, but you may fall off the wagon as well when Jillian Michaels isn't there for them.
Absolutely. I call it Brave New World syndrome because they're new people going back into this old environment, and it's very much like an addiction. It would be the way you think of drug addiction or alcohol addiction or any other form of addiction for that matter, is that it's very hard for them to go back into those old relationships, those old behavioral patterns. It's scary, it's shocking, they don't recognize themselves often, they're having a hard time adjusting to their new body and their new life, and for that reason, some people fall off the wagon. Again, with any addiction, that can happen, and it does happen from time to time.
And what do you tell them? I mean, obviously you have certain goals for each individual, and you remind them of those goals. But look, I mean, it's happened to me. I think it's happened to most, probably just about anybody in this audience. I have a flash of inspiration for 6 months, and I'm great, and then I fall off for a while. How do you not do that?
Well, I think that obviously willpower to me is a fleeting moment of bravado. It is that flash of inspiration, or take the bread off the table, or passing on the birthday cake. I think it's learning behavioral things that you can practice to protect yourself. Communicating with your family and your friends about your new life and how they can best support you. Removing temptation from your home and your environment whenever possible. But I think ultimately the key to staying healthy, keeping the weight off, is continuing to look inside yourself. It's all about self-exploration and growing as a person, feeling confident and worthy of being happy and being healthy. To me, that's the key.
One of the things I always find interesting is that people who should go to the gym sometimes to start an exercise routine are often intimidated by the gym because the gym is a place where people are already healthy. It's one of these self-defeating things. How do you keep people who should be at the gym not being intimidated by getting there?
It's funny. I tell them often, I say, you know what, I got to tell you, everyone thinks that everybody's looking at them. And it's, sometimes I'm not a runner. And my analogy for this is I'll go for a run outside, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to stop. I got to stitch, and I'll pretend like I'm tying my shoe. Like I'm not really resting. People are driving by. No one cares. No one knows. No one sees.
Did Jillian Michaels just stop running?
Did she just stop? What a pansy. Like I have this whole dialogue going on in my head. And I think we all have that. We're all insecure and pinching every inch and tearing ourselves apart. And the bottom line is that you have to accept where you're at. And if there's some person in your gym, or in your life for that matter, that's judging you or breaking you down or tearing you apart, they're just projecting their own insecurities onto you. Feel bad for them and know that they're not a person worthy of having in your life anyway. And do what you have to do.
I think that's great advice. And, you've learned so much. Obviously, you have a third book coming out. You're on the television, which congratulations.
Thank
Your first 2 books have done so well. We asked you to come up with 5 tips, which is hard to do, I think, because there's so many things out there that people should know. But what would you tell people if you had to distill it down?
I think I would say, first off, you have to put yourself first. And women in particular are guilty of this. It's, they sacrifice. It's the doormat syndrome. It's everything for the kids and the spouses and the career. And the bottom line is that if you want to be a better mom or better in your profession, you have to put yourself first, prioritize your health. Would you treat your children, we were talking about this earlier, would you treat your children the way you treat yourself? Would you make them go without playtime or improper nutrition, miss their doctor's appointments? Of course not. Right. So put yourself first, and you'll be better able to support your family and your loved ones. I think second, very simple, eat better. And I realize that times are tough. I get it. But I'm going to say to you that every dollar you invest in prevention will save you thousands down the road in treatment. I mean, you of all people must see, the things people go through. So eat better. I think your food can be your medicine in some cases or help you prevent disease, hopefully. And instead of buying those gossip magazines or whatever silly thing you might waste money on, like the latte in the morning, invest it into healthier food. Number 3, exercise. Obviously, we were talking about that a little earlier. Your first guest did a very good job of emphasizing that. But exercise is critical, I think, not only for your physical health and preventing obesity-related diseases like cancer and heart disease, but mentally, I think it's extremely empowering. And when people are strong physically, it can transcend into every facet of your life. And let's see this. 1, 2, 3. We're on 4. Okay. Wait, mental health. Yeah. Am I in order? Oh, thank God. I am. All right. Mental health. And obviously, it's all tied in together, and it is a holistic approach. But people are unwilling to really look at their demons, and they're unconscious. I think we can slip into being victims of our childhood. And it's about, in my opinion, taking responsibility at some point, going, okay, these things happened. This is where I'm at right now, but I'm going to take charge. I'm going to do the hard work. I'm going to get help if I need it. And I'm going to acknowledge the fact that I am worth it, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get what I want out of life. Sure. And last but not least, have fun. Enjoy your life. Stop and smell the roses. Pursue something you're passionate about. And Oscar Wilde has this brilliant quote that I love, and he said, when you do what you love, the universe conspires on your behalf. Now, I would just say, stop and spend as much time as you can doing what you love.
Are you taking good care of yourself? You're very busy.
I was just actually talking to Rachel about that because she's busier than me. And I'm like, how are you doing it? And I am finding my way with it. It's definitely hard, and I sometimes don't take my own advice, and then I notice that I get spread too thin, and I don't do my job well.
And you can't run down the street without stopping.
I have to stop and tie my shoe like 8 times. It's terrible. So I'm really working on blocking out days to do nothing except go see my horse and feed him cookies or whatever it might be. Just spending some quiet time and trying to fit in my workouts wherever I can. And my nutrition I can control, so that I keep incredibly clean when other things are out of control.
Well, I really appreciate you being here. I know you're really focused on this, not only what we see on television, but the whole idea of creating this culture of wellness in our society. So we hope we can be your partner in that for sure. And I have to tell you, I was really scared when I watched the clip. So you're actually very lovely, and I appreciate that. Jillian Michaels, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.